just had coffee and I'm wired. Okay, welcome back to Coffee Meets Murder, guys. Hope you all have been well since the last episode. I'm Janelle's.
And I'm Levon.
And today's case is going to be a sad one, like they all are. But like always now, we're going to start with our coffee orders. We're going to give you a little something to look forward to before we get into this case, this episode. So, Levon, you want to start with your coffee order or?
Like what I got today, it's pretty simple.
What you got today?
Yeah, it was vanilla. I had ordered the vanilla latte for you. And then they didn't give me. So I ordered the vanilla latte hot, and then I ordered I think it was supposed to be like a vanilla cream cold brew.
Oh, okay.
So the lady understood wrong.
Oh, she got
So when I got to the window, she gave me a cold vanilla latte with vanilla cream cold brew.
Oh, like a sweet cream cold foam?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and I
what
was
she
like,
understood.
oh, but where's the hot one? And she was like, oh, it doesn't seem like they charged you for it. And I was like, oh, can you just do it right now? And she was like, don't worry about it. It was my mistake.
And you were like, yeah, but it wasn't what I wanted.
But yours, so I ended up drinking. It's not that bad, but yours came out free.
Oh, yay.
Because, yeah, the lady was like, don't worry about it. It was my mistake.
So you're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, my coffee order is not the vanilla latte that I got today, but it is something else that maybe you might be interested in. Okay. It's going to be a regular latte, not a vanilla latte or any of those flavored ones. It's just going to be a regular latte, but with an all decaf espresso. Instead of 2% milk, it has oat milk.
Okay. Is that what makes it decaf?
What?
I think the decaf is that it's not really coffee.
Yes, but some people might like the coffee taste, but not the caffeine. Anyways, moving on.
Shame.
And then you're going to add 3 to 4 pumps of sugar-free vanilla syrup.
Okay.
Okay, and I guess in this way you can get it any size you want it in. And actually, it seems like a healthier side to coffee.
Sure.
What do you mean, sure?
The syrup is still bad.
Oh, 100%. But who's going to have all this decaf espresso with no sugar in it?
I don't think anybody should have decaf.
Some people add the syrup and sugar.
Yeah.
Which is insane. But, do you. Like I always say every episode, I feel. You do you, boo. All right, well, let's get into it. My case this week is a very sad one, as they all are. And it does involve children this time, so if that is not something you'd like to know about, then please feel free to not listen or skip this episode because it will be about children's disappearance and eventually their murder. Okay. So we start on March 25th, 1975.
Bam.
What do you mean? It's the 70s.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
The 70s was a really hot
time for serial killers
for
and
just
everything.
all of that.
It was crazy.
If there's one good thing that came out of this time was that police overall, all kinds of departments learned and were able to evolve.
Yeah.
So that later on in life, this wouldn't happen as much. And eventually, actually, we see the difference in the 80s and the 90s later on.
Yeah, well.
Obviously, it takes time, Yeah. But anyways, again, we start on March 25th, 1975. A quiet suburban shopping center in Wheaton, Maryland. Have you ever been to Maryland?
Never.
Neither have I. We should go.
Yeah.
The kids were outside, families were shopping, and everything felt normal. And just for a fun fact, I Googled what day of the week March 25th, 1975 was, and this was a regular schmegular Tuesday.
Damn.
So keep this in mind. It was a Tuesday, okay? Maryland, Wheaton was the kind of place where parents felt safe letting their children walk alone just for an afternoon errand, just for a short trip. But for one family, this ordinary day never ended.
I feel like they all said that about the 70s.
Because this was a time where you would drive down a suburban area.
Yeah.
Or like a random, regular neighborhood, and you would see kids outside.
I get it.
And then you would go up to the kid, And you would ask the kid, like, oh, where do you live? And they're like, I live 3 blocks down.
Right.
You know?
But all this, so the 70s, serial killers, the 80s, there were still serial killers. The 90s, still serial killers.
So here's the thing.
But we were playing outside in the early 2000s. So we didn't come to learn to not be playing outside until...
Right, no, until, electronics came into play and,
Right.
and things were done inside. I think it's a double-edged sword because you want kids to be outside.
Of course.
And to experience having friends in the neighborhood.
Yeah, of course.
And, just all that upbringing that's different from nowadays.
Yeah.
But because situations like this have happened,
Yeah.
People have evolved to not having, like, even if they're not outside, even if you live in an apartment complex,
Yeah.
or an apartment building, and then you're like, your kid comes up to you and is like, oh, I want to play with so-and-so, down the hallway. It's not outside. You know the people, but you just never know.
You don't know the people. Little Timmy's family might be...
You don't know who in
Insane.
Little Timmy's family. Because you might know Little Timmy's mom and Little Timmy's dad and brother and sister, but you don't know uncle, you don't know cousin, you don't know any of them. So they
Yep.
can just be there and do something, and that's when Little Timmy comes home with the whole story.
Yeah.
And it's just, the thing is that people live their lives as like, oh, it's never going to happen to me.
In a bubble.
You can say a bubble, but we do it too. We live our lives like, oh, that's never going to happen to me. Type. You know what I mean?
I get what
Do
you mean.
you get me?
I get what you mean.
Okay, because you're looking at me like you don't get me.
I get it.
But you live like, oh, that's never going to happen to me until it does.
Right.
And that's when people learn. So when you're saying, oh, all these towns with all these serial killers, running about in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, people were still playing outside.
Yeah.
I'm like, because it just never happened in their area. So people lived like, oh, that's happening 5 states away. Why would it happen here? It's not happening here, so go ahead.
Right.
Or maybe they would restrict their kids. You can only be outside from this time to this time. But you can still go play outside.
Okay.
Or check in with me. Or don't go as far. But again, you're still living of the mentality of it's not going to happen to me.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary and it's sad that it's happening in California, but I'm all the way across country, Maryland. Like, why would it happen here?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you don't think it's going to spark up some other person in my area to do the same.
Right.
Right? Which is why we have situations that go on everywhere. But anyways, moving on. So again, this was the kind of place where parents felt safe letting their children walk alone just for an afternoon errand, just for a short trip. But for one family, the ordinary never ended. This ordinary day, never ended. This is a story of Catherine and Shayla Lyon, 2 sisters who vanished without a trace, and the man who would get away with it for over 40 years.
It's unsolved?
Dun, dun, dun. You'll have to find out now. My gosh. Catherine, known as Kate, and Shayla Lyon were born in Kensington, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C., or a suburb just outside of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
They were children to John and Mary Lyon. They were 2 of the 4 children and the only girls born to their parents. They had an older brother named Jay and a younger brother named Joseph, completing the entire family of 6. The Lyon children lived in a close middle-class household on Pliers Mill Road. Their father was a well-known and a popular radio personality at WMAL in the AM, a local radio station operated by the then owner of ABC affiliate WMAL-TV and the now defunct Washington Star. So he was like, you turn on your radio in the morning and you hear people talking.
Sure.
People do that. I know you might not, but people do that. Okay, moving on. Anyways, back then, when you would turn on your radio and you want to hear,
Right. Whatever is on the radio.
You're right. Music or a show or something, he would be the one to operate all that kind of stuff, right? Which is kind of cool. You don't hear that nowadays.
Nope.
You don't hear in Career Day. My dad works at a radio station.
No, not really.
Nope. Even though they still
have the radio, yeah.
Yeah, you still have the radio. You should, support.
Yeah, I'll pass.
By 1975, the oldest Lyon sibling, Jay, was 15 years old. The youngest sibling, Joseph, was 9. Shayla was 12 years old, and Catherine was 10. By all accounts, the girls were normal kids. They were close sisters, responsible, and trusted by their parents. Shayla attended Newport Junior High School and Catherine Oakland Terrace Elementary. Both sisters were days away from celebrating their 13th and 11th birthdays. So Kate's birthday was on March 29th.
Okay.
And Shayla's birthday was March 30th.
Okay.
Okay, so the incident happened March 25th.
Before their birthday.
Right before their birthdays, like right there.
Yeah.
Both girls knew that their parents had planned to take them for a special meal for their birthdays.
Oh.
According to their mother, neither girl could wait for the upcoming occasion. So they were excited. Their birthdays were coming up. You remember when you were excited for your birthday?
Yeah. Were?
Yeah, now
Yeah.
now your birthday comes around and you just get sad. You're like, oh no, just 1 year older.
Yeah.
So, March 25th was the second day of school spring vacation. So they were on spring break.
Okay.
Which is why it makes sense that this was a random
Regular
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay. As such, the 4 Lyon children woke at approximately 10 a.m. Shortly after eating breakfast, the Lyon brothers visited a local basketball court. Catherine and Shayla opted to walk to the Wheaton Plaza shopping center. Now it's called the Westfield Wheaton. I did not fact check that, but that's what that says.
Okay.
All right. So they wanted to go there to browse Easter exhibits because I guess the mall would decorate heavily for Easter.
Yeah.
So they wanted to go to do that and to meet friends who frequently socialize at the location. And upon hearing of her daughter's plans, Mary Lyon suggested, why don't you stop off and get some pizza as well? Like, you're going to be there for lunchtime.
Right.
You're going to walk there, so might as well here's some money and go get pizza as well.
Okay.
Okay. Again, these girls are 10, 12 years old, and I cannot fathom right now sending any children, 10, 12, by themselves.
They're a bit more, like, people were more mature when they were younger back then than they are now.
I agree. I really do agree. I think we baby
Way too much.
way too much. But then again, I think it's also a mentality of we know because of these situations.
That's true. That's also true, yeah.
It's a mix of both.
Yeah.
So again, upon hearing of her daughter's plans, Mary Lyon suggested, why don't you stop off and get some pizza? I also like how this is like she's washing dishes in the kitchen and then they're sitting in the living room like, we should go meet, Samantha at the mall. And their mom is like, yeah, sure, go.
Hey, you should meet Samantha at the mall.
Yeah, instead of like, hey, can I go?
No.
They're like, yeah, here's some money. Go ahead.
Yep.
I wish. So the sisters agreed, and Catherine lightheartedly remarking that the price of a slice of pizza had recently increased from 40 cents to 45 cents.
Wow.
Right. So they're talking about like, oh my God, Mom, you should give us a little more money because, the pizza price just went
Oh,
up.
my God.
So such a lighthearted conversation. I could never. Not with my mom. Yeah, I know. I had to ask. And then get told no because of situations like this
Like this one, yeah.
Exactly. So the girls left their house or home between 11 a.m. and around 11 a.m., midday around there. So they eat breakfast at 10 a.m. Brothers go off to the park. And around 11 a.m. to midday to noon, they end up leaving their house. They each had approximately $2 to their name, which is the equivalent about $12.05 as of 2026.
Say it again.
They each had $2 to their name.
So, like, she gave them $4, 2 and 2?
Yes.
And then that equivalent.
And that was the equivalent of about $12.05.
Each?
Yeah.
Damn.
Here's the thing. That's not even a slice of pizza right now.
Right now? No. Well, when you go to Costco, yeah. It's like $1.
We're going to the mall.
We actually no longer have pizzerias at the mall.
Isn't that the place, the Sbarro? The SBARRO one?
I know how to spell Sbarro. And that's not at the mall.
Yes, it is.
That's not at the mall.
Yes, it is.
What mall?
Dolphin has one. Dadeland has one. International has one.
Maybe, but Dolphin Mall does not have one. Does not have a Sbarro.
No, it has something else, but it has pizza.
They have a bunch of restaurants.
Yeah, that's
underneath.
outside. You're talking about the Italian restaurant and that like little plaza with a bunch of restaurants
but not
outside.
inside.
Yes, they do. They have one in the courtroom. Wait a minute. In the thing.
In the
Food court.
The food court, yeah. No, they don't.
Next time we go, we're going to bet on it. I'm going to bet.
You're going to see.
All right. So they take their money, and they were both told to be home by their 4 p.m. curfew. At the insistence of a friend, Mary Lyon later visited a bowling alley. So I read that Mary Lyon, the mother, was like in a bowling league of sorts.
No way.
Yes. And so her friend was like, hey, girl, hey, come on. The kids are out. You're home alone. You're not doing anything, right? Like, have your husband drop you off so we can bowl, right? That was like the thing, I guess, to do.
Yeah.
So she was driven to the bowling alley by her husband, who, because he was working a night shift that the night before, woke at midday.
Okay.
So the kids were out, and he wakes up, and she's like, oh my gosh. So Susan wants me to go to this bowling league right now. Like, we need to practice.
Yeah.
We're going to have games or whatever you call it.
Right.
And so you need to drive me right now. So he drove her, right?
Such a great guy.
Everybody was going about their day, right?
He was normal.
I guess a normal Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right? Not a Saturday. Sounds like Saturday activities.
It does.
It does. But no, this is a Tuesday. Anyways, this is where a simple trip that should have taken less than an hour to get there. Oh my God, I messed up here. So this is a simple trip that they took, right? The girls. Yeah. It takes less than an hour to get from their house to the mall.
Okay.
Okay. And again, they wanted to look at Easter decorations. They wanted to maybe browse a few stores and then come home.
Yeah.
Right? Have some pizza and then come home. Nothing unusual. But when the time came for them to return, they never did. At first, when 4 p.m. came around, their parents were not overly alarmed. Right? Sometimes you're late, children. Right? By 5:45, Mary Lyon had begun preparing the family's evening meal of fried chicken. She later recollected feeling slightly annoyed that her daughters had not returned home by this time, which is normal behavior, considering your children probably having out fun. You're out having fun, you lose track of time, and then you're like, oh, shit.
Yep.
I get to get my ass home, right? This annoyance, though, rapidly developed into panic, and by 7 p.m., police were notified of the girl's disappearance. Maybe they lost track of time. Maybe they stopped to talk to friends. But as minutes turned into hours, concern turned into panic. That evening, police were called, and one of the largest missing persons investigations in Maryland history began.
Oh, okay.
Immediately after the police were called, a search was conducted for the girls. During the investigation, multiple people came forward quickly, right? You start asking questions, you start looking around. Thankfully, a lot of people did come forward quickly. The sisters were believed to have intended to eat lunch at a popular pizza parlor within the shopping center named the Orange Bowl. So they were seen eating there.
Right.
Okay. Both girls were seen by eyewitnesses talking with an unidentified middle-aged man close to the Orange Bowl less than an hour after they are believed to have arrived at the shopping center. So they get to the mall. They probably did look at the Easter decorations. They, they roamed around the mall. Then they finally did end up sitting down to eat pizza. And they saw the girls talking to a middle-aged old man.
Okay.
Their older brother, Jay, one question, was later informed the investigators that he had seen his sisters eating pizza together at this same eatery. I like how all these kids are just roaming around the city, like, town, like it's all good. So I guess after they played basketball, they also went to the mall. So he later informed investigators he had seen his sisters eating pizza together at this same eatery, although his sisters were alone. So he didn't see a middle-aged man. Jay's sighting of his sisters is believed to have occurred after the girls had already spoken with the middle-aged individual, I guess. Okay. It is said that shortly after 2 p.m., Catherine and Shayla were seen walking home from the shopping center.
Okay.
The Lyon family initiated a round-the-clock vigil whereby a family member would be invariably within arm's reach of the family's telephone. So they would all take turns, like, next to the phone. In case police did find something, nobody would miss a call.
Right.
Okay, so police rapidly determined the sister's disappearance was involuntary, and an intense search to locate the children were immediately implemented. House-to-house searches were conducted, numerous witnesses were interviewed, and hundreds of public trips pursued. With the assistance of search and rescue dogs, an extensive search of terrain surrounding both the shopping center and the Lyon household was implemented. So, like in many cases, when so much time has passed by, you start to think of other possibilities that could have happened to them.
Right.
Not just, maybe they got lost, right? At first, it's maybe they got lost. Maybe they don't know where they are. Mm-hmm. Then it turns into somebody took them, they're kidnapped, abducted. And then from there, it turns into they were possibly
murdered. Okay.
It's just so hard to say when you're talking about kids.
Yeah.
Or anyone, for that matter. Okay. So, these searches and the rescue dogs did detect a trail that the sisters had likely taken from the shopping center.
Okay.
Towards the perimeter of a parking lot adjacent to a department store close to their premises. So they walked out of the shopping mall, and I guess there's more stores that go out to the street, I guess, and they were passing by there. Although the trail ended at this location. So the trail ends at one of those department stores that's outside of the shopping mall. Scuba divers also searched the lakes and ponds and locations such as storm sewers, vacant lots, rivers, and stream beds. Numerous civilians volunteered assisting these official searches, although all efforts proved fruitless.
Okay.
A reward of $9,000 was also offered to the sisters' safe return. So you have all kinds of searches going on. You even have a reward for their finding. Okay? Due to the fact that 2 children had disappeared as opposed to 1, investigators suspected more than one individual may have been involved in their abduction. Suspecting a likely sexual motive behind the sisters' abduction, several known pedophiles and sex offenders were questioned in the weeks following their disappearance. All were eliminated from the inquiry upon verification of their alibis.
Okay.
So they have nothing to go off of. And
Wait.
I need you to search up real quick.
Hang on. There's one thing I wanted to search up before. If they were offering $9,000
today in 2026,
that's the equivalent to $54,000.
Yeah.
It's like a times 6 type of thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. What did you need me to look up?
I need you to look up a picture of these 2 little girls because they're babies. And I think that nowadays, children back then, Catherine, mm-hmm. Are you looking for the names?
Yeah.
Catherine and Shayla Lyon. I feel like children back then looked a lot more like children.
Yeah.
But acted a lot more mature. Whereas nowadays, a lot of children look a lot more mature, but they act immature.
Right.
If that makes sense. Did you see him?
I think I found a picture of
Let me see.
Catherine Lyon.
Let me see. Yes, look at that.
Yeah. It's like the haircut.
It's not even the haircut.
And she was only 10.
She was only 10. Yeah. Yes, she was on. They were only 12 and 10. Now, here's the thing. When you were telling me.
This is both.
Yes, look at that. They're babies.
Yeah.
And for you to tell me that you were suspecting a likely sexual motive behind this.
That's crazy.
It's disgusting.
That's crazy.
Disgusting.
Oh, here's with color. Oh. Oh, no. Man.
No, it doesn't even matter. You can tell them. You can see them.
Yeah, but you can see them better there.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Several known pedophiles and sex offenders were questioned in the weeks following their disappearance. All were eliminated from the inquiry upon verification of their alibis. So, even though they interviewed or investigated all these people surrounding the area that were pedophiles or sex offenders, again, fruitless, nothing came out of that. The Lyon family themselves immediately pursued all tangible methods to locate their daughters, including conducting searches around their neighborhood and printing and distributing missing persons flyers in addition to pursuing leads generated by psychics. So they tried all types of areas that they can as well.
They tried a psychic?
They tried a psychic. At this point, when you're hopeless and you're like
I guess.
desperate.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, that's the last thing that they tried after they did printing and distributing missing persons flyers. They helped an investigation. They're helping the investigators.
Yeah, they were desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So both the family and police received numerous calls from hoax callers.
Yeah.
Why? Why are you such a person that thinks that this is the right time to do that? Like, prank call me on a regular Wednesday. Don't prank call me when you know that there's something going on.
Yeah.
Like, you're...
I think this is like the second case that we have hoax. Mm-hmm. Second or third, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They were hoax callers, attention seekers, and extortionists claiming to be holding the girls for ransom in the immediate aftermath of their disappearance. One of these calls was received from an anonymous male caller on April 4th, 1975. This individual demanded that John Lyon, the father, leave a briefcase with $10,000, which is the equivalent of about $60,200 as of 2026. The briefcase. He wanted it to be left inside an Annapolis courthouse restroom.
Okay.
So weird. In the courthouse.
Yeah.
In the courthouse.
That's so weird.
You're going to walk in with $60,000 in your briefcase.
Yeah.
Walk in, leave it in the courthouse. Immediately, I would suspect somebody from the courthouse. Why the
of course.
Like, what?
You must work there.
Exactly.
Especially in the bathroom. That's so weird.
Like, not even like in 64th Street alley, like something sketchy. No, in the courthouse.
Behind a bus stop? Nope.
It's just weird. So with approval from the police, the girl's father left $101, the equivalent of about $608 as of 2026, inside the briefcase, as directed by law enforcement officials. So they're like, we're gonna try to get this guy, because again, you can't leave anything behind. So if this guy is claiming that he has a girl, like, you're gonna follow through to the end with it. Yeah. Right.
But why? So if you're not gonna leave, right? So if you're not gonna leave the full amount,
right? They wanted
you're gonna make it believe as if there is the full amount. Right. Then why even put money in there? Why not just stuff it with like newspaper or something?
I don't know. Maybe because it's.
Regardless of the fact, whoever grabs that briefcase has to be some way involved, or
it doesn't even matter.
Randomly found
it doesn't even matter because the briefcase was never claimed.
It was always just there.
The individual later called John and said he had seen too many police around the courthouse and thus did not attempt to retrieve the ransom.
Bro.
Well,
first of all, it's a courthouse. There's obviously going to be cops all around there. Bro. It's obvious.
Slap my knee and call me silly because of course you're going to see police and then outside of a courthouse.
You go to our courthouse, there's cops there all the time.
What type of ransom is this? If you're going to do it right. And
there's cops assigned to a courthouse as their normal daily thing.
I know. That's like what they do.
This guy's stupid.
In response, John said he would only follow further instructions if he heard his daughter's voices. This anonymous caller never attempted to reinitiate contact.
Okay.
So it may have been the killer. It may have not been the killer.
Yeah.
Regardless, they went MIA. No one knows where that person is.
Damn.
On the day following the first media circulation of the composite drawing of the middle-aged man carrying a briefcase with a tape recorder.
Okay.
Okay, so the middle-aged man in the mall was seen with a tape recorder and a briefcase.
Okay.
Okay. This happened April 1st, 1975. An 18-year-old Appalachia native named Lloyd Lee Welch Jr. traveled to the shopping center to specifically inform a security guard that he had seen a man matching the police description of the suspect of the premises on March 25th.
Okay.
Red flag number one, because why would you go to a security guard
Right.
instead of just the investigators who are investigating this already. And because you saw the police composite sketch, and on top of that, it's April 1st.
So April Fools? And you're going to go to Paul Blart over there?
April. I can't. He's also 18 at the time.
Right.
An Appalachian native. That's also scary. Welch corroborated existing eyewitness accounts of seeing the girls converse with this individual carrying a tape recorder and microphone. Also describing overhearing the man state to the sisters he recorded people's voices and put them on the radio. According to Welch, the oldest sister had giggled upon hearing this. Welch's statement further elaborated he had subsequently seen the man forcing the distressed children into a red Camaro with white upholstery before hurriedly driving from the scene. That seems oddly specific.
Yeah.
And if you saw that and they were distressed, why would you not say anything?
Of course.
But moving on. Welch was interviewed at a nearby police station. He provided a 6-page statement detailing the account he had outlined and consented to a polygraph test. When informed, he had failed this test. Welch admitted he had provided false information.
Wow.
We're wasting so much time on this. Contemporary case documents indicate he was released by police as an unreliable witness, possibly motivated by a desire to collect the publicized reward money for the arrest of the individual. Investigators considered a strong suspect in the case. So my thing is like, that's the tricky part about putting out a reward. You're going to get a lot of people wanting to give out information or like false information, right? To get some of the reward.
Right.
But only thinking of themselves, not thinking of the fact that you're wasting my time and I'm trying to investigate to find these little girls.
Correct.
Which is horrible. I will say it time and time again. Reportedly, Welch received a lecture about lying to police before he was allowed to leave the police station after the fact. A 1-page report was placed on top of the transcript of Welch's statement with the words, "Polygraph lied," written atop the document. This document was filed amongst the voluminous records compiled by investigators pertaining to the investigation and remained accessible only via a search of police records. On April 6, an 11-year-old boy named William Krebs reported he had seen the sisters inside a white 2-door Pontiac sedan driving along U.S. Route 211 in Centerville, Virginia. An 11-year-old boy being not specific.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe I'm just not used to it, but maybe kids were a lot more detailed then. Shortly after, they are believed to have been abducted. Krebs remained adamant one of the sisters, whom he identified as Catherine, had been weeping, while another blonde girl sat in the rear passenger seat. Although treated with caution, this sighting was given credibility, thus expanding the search radius. The following day, but before I get to the other one. So they kind of gave this kid credibility because Maryland and Virginia are close to each other, right? I can't think of it right now. But even if they are, it is not out of the realm of possibility that the person who abducted them has left the state.
Right.
Right, because of how many days have been passed. Okay. The following day, a witness in Manassas, Virginia, I think that's how you say that, reported seeing 2 girls resembling the Lyon sisters in the rear of a beige 1968 Ford station wagon at approximately 7:30 p.m. on the date of their disappearance. Manassas, Virginia, 7:30 p.m. on March 25th.
Bit of a drive.
I wouldn't be able to tell right now. Because 7:30 p.m. from 2 p.m., you can't drive that far.
What is that, like 5 hours?
I think so. Manassas, Virginia. Put it on the GPS. Manassas, Virginia to, to Maryland, period. I'll tell you right now. We're looking at Manassas, Virginia, all the way to Kensington, Maryland. All of those states are very close to each other.
To where?
Kensington, Maryland. You found it?
How do you spell Kensington?
Kensington.
I got it. Never mind. Kensington. It's 56 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. This witness claimed that the children were bound and gagged. You didn't do anything at the moment? Was that something normal? Oh my God,
That's
sorry.
crazy.
That is crazy. The driver of this vehicle closely resembled the middle-aged man in the composite sketch released to the public, and the eyewitness further claimed that when the driver noted he was being followed, he sped through a red light in the direction of Interstate 66. The station wagon had Maryland license plates beginning with a possible combination of DMT6, the last 2 digits being obscured due to the bending of the license plate.
Oh, wow.
The known combination was issued in Cumberland, Hagerstown, and Baltimore at the time. Although this eyewitness report was initially treated as a credible, briefly stirring a media frenzy, police later deemed the sighting questionable. Nonetheless, the eyewitness account inspired a small army of mobile citizen band radio users to scour the vicinity of the city with a running commentary. So I guess like they all had like a radio and would say possible license plates, or at the moment they would like run there. I don't know.
Okay.
But these well-meaning yet somewhat amateur efforts failed to yield any tangible results, as a search for matching plate numbers failed to locate any vehicle matching the known description. So yeah, it's like a police radio that they all had, and then they would communicate with each other with the police radio in case they found anything close to like the license plate number or the car. But again, fruitless. Nothing came out of that. Other contemporary press reports indicate that a man matching the sketch of the middle-aged individual at the shopping center had actually been seen a few weeks prior to the Lyon sisters' disappearance, approaching several young girls and asking them to recite an answering machine message typed on an index card into his handheld microphone. These incidents had occurred at the Marlow Heights Shopping Center and the Iverson Mall, both in neighboring Prince George's County. So those were all in the same area.
Yeah.
And he was seen, same thing, kind of like recording the girls.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, it's a little bit more specific now as to why he had a tape.
Exactly.
You know, like, it's kind of weird.
It is. It is weird. I'm never saying anything in a tape if somebody comes up to me randomly at the mall.
Kind of weird, but I mean, I guess I could see what he was doing with the tape now, you know?
Doing some weird stuff. Probably wanted, like, you think maybe he got off on the girls' voices alone? It's weird.
Already a weirdo.
I mean...
Yeah, it's even weirder.
Police never publicly acknowledged a direct link between these reports and the Lyon disappearance. Although the media devoted considerable attention to the sisters' disappearance and press interest in the case remained intense for several weeks, no conclusive leads as to the girls' whereabouts emerged. On May 23, 1975, Maryland Lieutenant Governor Blair Lee ordered 122 National Guardsmen to participate in a search of Montgomery County forest for the missing girls, again, to no avail. This became a cold case until 2013, when they decided to reinvestigate the case.
Oh, man.
So we're talking about 1975 all the way to 2013.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
By 2013, many of the original investigators had retired or died. Right, you're talking about a while.
Yeah.
And although the case continued to receive periodic reviews, little progress had been made. A decision was made to again review the archived case records with view to approaching the investigation afresh. Because if I started on the case and I'm looking at the same files, the same information, hearing the same interviews, my eyes are going to get clouded, right? So to speak. They're going to be clouded because I'm reviewing and I don't see something. But then, 20 years later, I retire.
Fresher
I
mind.
move on. You come in, you're seeing it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Right? And the information's already there. I feel like it's a different perspective that you gain when you're actively receiving than when everything's already laid out in front of you.
Correct.
Right? So, reviewing every record preserved from the original investigation, Sergeant Chris Hamrock encountered Welch's original statement. 18-year-old Welch. Remember him?
Yeah.
Critically, Hamrock noticed a mugshot taken of Welch in 1977, 2 years later, pertaining to a burglary closely matched the 1975 composite drawing of the young Caucasian man whose witnesses stated had leered at the Lyon girls within the Whedon Plaza shopping center shortly before the abduction.
Huh.
So they're saying that the composite sketch that they made of him for the burglary was similar to the sketch that they had made for the girls.
Right.
Right. Having learned that Welch had accrued an extensive criminal history between 1973 and 1997 for offenses including rape, domestic violence, and assault with a knife, and was serving a 29-year sentence within the James T. Vaughn Correctional Center for the molestation of a 10-year-old girl in Delaware.
Oh, my God.
Detectives secured a prison interview with Welch, and this interview was conducted on October 16th, 2013, and lasted 8 hours.
Damn, so he was probably like, had to be, what is it, like his 50s, 60s, 80s?
He was born on December 30th, 1956.
He was December 1956?
Old.
So he's not so he's probably like, what, 70s, 60s, 70s? Go on.
Initially, the investigators feared Welch would refuse to speak with them. However, on the first day of formal interview, Welch spoke for many hours.
Wow.
Beginning his conversation with the statement, "I know why you're here. You're here about those 2 missing kids." So cold.
It is.
In response, Detective David Davis, what a name. Detective David Davis.
D.
Yeah. Placed a photograph of the Lyon sisters before Welch. So he was like, here, see these 2 little girls? He said, "These 2 little girls here have never been found, and their parents are damn near 80 years old and have no idea what happened to their daughters. That's why we're here to talk to you." In this initial interview, Welch acknowledged observing the sisters near the shopping center on the date of their disappearance, although he denied being present within the premises. He then expanded his admission to claim to have seen a guy putting 2 girls in the back of a car. It didn't look right. One of them was crying.
Okay.
Shown a photograph of a known child sex trafficker named Raymond Molesky Sr., whom investigators had previously considered a strong suspect. Welch insisted he was the individual he had seen abducting the Lyon sisters. Asked his personal opinion as to what fate he believed that befallen the girls, Welch replied, "My opinion is that Molesky killed them and raped them. He probably burned them. I don't know."
Who's Molesky?
Molesky is the Raymond Molesky Sr. He was...
got it.
Right, remember that the investigators started to interview and look at a bunch of other child sex offenders and molesters and stuff, and then, ended up with nothing.
Right.
Welch over here, our boy, was like, well, Raymond Molesky Sr. was the one, he identified that guy. But who's to say that he didn't just find somebody that looked like him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Throughout time and be like, if they ever come back to me, this is what I'm saying.
I'd just say it's him, yeah.
Mm-hmm. In his second interview with investigators, Welch acknowledged observing the girls leave the shopping center. He further elaborated he had known Molesky and that the children had been taken to Molesky's home, where they had been drugged up, molested, and murdered by Molesky and other 2 individuals who claimed in this second interview not to know. Welch claimed that he had observed these events through the window of a basement door.
Bro, what?
And that upon hearing one of the children scream, he had fled the premises.
What?
Bro, you're in prison already for molesting a 10-year-old. You're going to flee the premises scared because you heard one of the children scream? Be so for real right now. I can't. His story's not adding up.
It doesn't make any sense.
I would be so frustrated. What? So you knew Molesky because I guess they all know each other.
Yeah.
Talking about their next victim, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you're saying that you saw it from the outside basement window.
What a creep.
But you know him.
Yeah.
Like,
Why
you
didn't you
make-
call the cops, first of all?
Because he's also a weirdo. You know what I mean? But it's like, your friends. Why are you outside of your friend's house, like being a weirdo?
Looking through the basement window.
Yes,
Maybe they won't
imagine,
see you as such a weirdo if you would have just called the cops and helped them.
You could have been like a neighbor, and you're like, I need to, to see what's going on, so then I can go to the police, right? Not even. Why didn't you go out and say it? Why'd you go to, like you said, Paul Blart, the mall cop, to say something? You're a liar. He's a fibber. Raymond Rudolph Molesky.
What a stupid name.
Senior.
Okay.
Right, because I guess there's a junior somewhere. A resident of Suitland, Maryland, at the time of the sisters' disappearance, lived approximately 17 kilometers from the Lyon family in 1975. Molesky had been convicted of the November 1977 shooting deaths of his 35-year-old wife, Dolores, and 17-year-old son, Raymond Jr., in addition to wounding his youngest son following a heated domestic argument. He was convicted and sentenced to 40 years in prison for these offenses.
Holy shit.
So 2 years later, Molesky was put in prison for the shooting.
2 years after the little girl.
2 years, November 1977.
Okay.
Contemporary eyewitness account of the individual with the tape recorder in the Wheaton Plaza shopping center and considered a likely suspect in the Lyon sisters' abduction indicated that the man walked with a slight limp.
Did he walk with a slight limp?
As had Molesky. Furthermore, Molesky closely resembled the composite drawing. This information, coupled with Molesky's known history of child sexual abuse, had previously made him a strong contemporary suspect. Based on information later given to authorities by prison informants and Molesky's own subsequent claims to hold knowledge regarding the sisters' abduction, which he offered to share with investigators in exchange for more favorable prison conditions. Authorities searched his former residence in early April 1982. Although no evidence was discovered, Molesky died in prison in 2010.
Wow, bro.
So he was a very strong contender because he matched the drawing.
Yeah.
He was said to have a limp, and then the person who was seen with the girls also had a limp.
Yeah.
And so on. So he could have been one.
Wow, bro.
Yeah. But he died, and if it was him, he took it to the grave. All right. Moving on. In subsequent interviews with investigators, Welch, we're going back to Welch, denied Molesky's culpability in the sisters' abduction and murder. He also contradicted several other claims given in his initial interrogation in the 12 subsequent interviews granted to investigators. So he's very messy. And I understand how now in the first place they told him that he was not a good witness. Because now he's saying that Molesky's culpability was just not it.
Okay.
He was not part of it. Welch put Molesky in the forefront, and now he's like, just kidding.
This guy, bro.
He's playing way too much, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. So alternating between instances of denial of involvement in the sisters' kidnapping and murder, knowledge of relatives' culpability in the crime while maintaining his own innocence and limiting his participation to the planning and commission of the kidnapping. Welch is constantly changing accounts as to whom he had seen abducting and or molesting the sisters, his alternating accounts regarding his participation or lack thereof, his failing of a polygraph test in one of the first interviews granted to investigators, and the fact his alternating accounts and admissions resulted either from his claims being disproven or challenged, led to investigators rapidly reviewing Welch as a participant in the crime as opposed to a witness. Furthermore, Welch also inadvertently revealed details about the crime gradually proven to be known as only to be a direct participant. So he keeps putting himself in the crime and outside of the crime.
Yeah.
But that's unreliable.
Extremely.
Very unreliable. In February 2014, investigators formally named Lloyd Lee Welch as a person of interest in the case.
Yeah.
Investigators revealed that Welch, who was 18 years old in 1975, was an Appalachian native with a violent temper whose family lived insular lifestyles and frequently engaged in incest, both consensual and non-consensual. Welch himself had been raised in both foster care and later by his father after his mother had been killed in a drunk driving crash caused by his own father, whom he claimed had repeatedly molested him as a child. That kind of checks out as to why you would abduct and also rape children.
Yeah.
Between the mid-1970s and the early 1990s, Welch had traveled extensively throughout the United States via his employment as a ride operator for a carnival company, which had frequently installed rides in booths close to shopping malls. Investigators also revealed that although physically attracted to adult females, Welch had a sexual penchant for adolescent female children.
Oh, my God.
And that he had been arrested and convicted of the rape of underage girls in 3 states in the years following the Lyon sisters' disappearance. So who's to say that they weren't the first?
Right.
Or, the second or third that were, not discovered.
Right.
By July 2014, Welch, who had largely renamed consistent in his accounts to investigators, the Lyon sisters had been abducted, raped, and burned up. He was very, very specific.
Yeah.
In every instance, he had said that they had been abducted, raped, and burned up. His words.
Yeah, that's very specific.
He had revised his statement to concede that the day after the sisters' disappearance, he had observed his father, Lloyd Welch Sr., and his uncle, Richard Allen Welch, sexually abuse one of the girls inside a door concrete basement. Initially, Welch claimed the basement had been at his uncle's residence, although he later confessed the basement had been at his father's residence in Hyattsville, Maryland. The basement was accessible solely via a single padlocked door at the rear of the property, and according to Welch, his father and uncle had threatened him, prompting him to simply leave the children at their mercy at this location. Welch further stated he had never again seen the children alive, and also claimed that upon learning of the sisters' murders, he had been forced to participate in destroying all evidence of the crime of the property. So now he's saying that his uncle and his dad were the ones to do what they did to the girls.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. According to Welch, the remains of at least one of the sisters had been placed inside a large duffel bag at this residence, and he had burned the body of the girl or girls upon family-owned land on Taylor's Mountain in Thaxton, Bedford County, Virginia. In September 2014, investigators searched both Taylor's Mountain and Welch's uncle's residence in Hyattsville in response to the claims that Welch had made 2 months previous to having witnessed his father and uncle rape one of his sisters and dismember the other in the base of the property. The layout of rooms of interest perfectly matched that what he had described in his latter accounts of the fate befallen to the children, and several items were seized in the search of the property. At the mountain, the FBI's evidence recovery team assisted police and investigators in their September 2014 forensic search of Taylor's Mountain. The sole physical evidence recovered consisted of several small, degraded bone fragments of human origin, a single human tooth, a section of charred wire, potentially originating from Shayla's wire-rimmed glasses.
Oh, my God.
And remnants of a beaded necklace or bracelet similar to one habitually worn by Catherine, who had the necklace had her name on it.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, if it would have been a body that they found and it was unrecognizable,
Yeah.
the necklace would have said Catherine.
Okay.
Right. So they found remnants of a beaded necklace or bracelet similar to the one that she would wear all the time.
Okay.
It was all recovered from the precise location of the 1975 fire neighbors of the Welch family recollected. The sections of bone fragments recovered were too degraded for permit any form of DNA analysis. The recovered tooth was lost before analysis could be conducted.
Wow.
So the tooth could have said this was them,
Yeah.
or this was one of them, and then the bones were so degraded that the DNA analysis was just not going to go through. So right now we have no whereabouts of where they're at. In December 2014, Welch's cousin, Henry Parker, informed detectives that he had met Welch at a family property on Taylor's Mountain Road in Thaxton, Virginia, sometime in the spring of 1975. According to Parker, he had helped remove 2 Army-style duffel bags from Welch's vehicle, each covered in red stains, weighing about 60 or 70 pounds and smelling like death.
Wow.
His words, that was a quote. Without questioning Welch as to their contents, which you should always question,
Right.
Parker threw the bags into a fire, which had burned for several days, and which neighbors would later recollect had emanated an odor like you burnt yourself.
Okay.
It's like if you burn yourself and that smell, that's what it smelled like. None of these neighbors had suspected any form of foul play or criminal activity surrounding the fire, as the act of residents burning trash at this location was a common thing.
Right.
Sections of Parker's account had earlier been corroborated by Parker's sister, Connie Ackers, who informed investigators that at one point in 1975, she, then a teenager, witnessed Welch and his pregnant partner, Helen Craver, arriving at the property with a bulging army green duffel bag emanating a pungent odor, who had claimed sourced from spoiled beef. Ackers also stated he had been asked by Welch's to assist in washing 2 bags of blood-stained clothing, but she had refused.
Okay.
So he was like, "Hey, wash this. It's full of blood. Can you?" And she was like, "No." She's like, "Absolutely not. This is like." She wanted to ask questions, but she didn't. So here's the thing. I think he did it.
Yes.
But then again, who's to say that the story of dad and uncle doing it and he had to dispose of it isn't true?
Right.
But
why did he... What I don't get is why...
But he could have also made up that story, so he's like involved, but he didn't do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think that's what.
And why not just give it up from the beginning? Why go through all this
Because these type of people, so I'm getting, is that they relish they like seeing investigators frustrated. They like seeing the way that the family is. Like, they get off on it. That is the only thing that I can think of.
Yeah.
That can even form an understanding of why not just say you did it from the get-go.
Yeah. So then who was the guy that approached them with a recorder?
It had to have been him.
But there's no proof that it was him.
Again, it goes back to the composite sketch. Right. And then he's the only one that's been very descriptive. Red Camaro. The girls were distressed.
Yeah.
I saw them at the pizza thing. Like, you saw them at the pizza parlor, like the pizza area. You saw the guy talking to them. You saw the guy walking them to the car. You did the whole thing, but you didn't say anything.
It's very weird.
All of that. So you followed them. Like, think about it. Let's say you're at a food court or you're in a store. Somebody goes up to you. You have to walk to the parking lot. The car's not parked right outside of the store.
Of course.
Or no, I'm sorry. The guy talked to them at some point in the pizza parlor, left.
Yeah.
Brother saw them eating. Brother didn't go up to them, but okay. Brother saw them eating. They got up, they left, they walked outside. The guy waited for them. Outside. Yeah. Took them in. But you saw the whole thing.
So you were following.
You were just so conveniently around the premises where you happened to see them talk to the guy, and then outside you happened to see them get in the car.
It kind of seems like you were following them.
Seemed like you were the one.
Yeah.
All right. So, although luminol testing upon the floors and outer walls of the household basement of Welch's uncle had proved negative, a similar May 2015 forensic examination of the rear room of the basement of his father's home revealed extensive traces of blood from the concrete floor to the ceiling, indicating a human or humans or an animal had at one point been slaughtered in this location. Further DNA testing revealed that the bloodstains to be of human origin, although the samples were in such an advanced state of degradation, no possible genealogical analysis test would be conducted. These developments proved sufficient to charge Welch with murders. Shortly thereafter, investigators also named Richard Allen Welch as a person of interest in their origin investigation. So they're like, yeah, no, you did it. Like, you did it. You were so specific.
Yeah.
Because you were there. Like, I'm going to charge you for murder because you were there.
Right. Richard is the dad, or?
Richard Allen Welch is his dad.
Right.
Or it was at his uncle's house, so I think it was his uncle.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So they ended up charging him with what?
they charged Welch with the murders, but Richard Allen Welch became an interest, like a person of interest at the moment. Within months of the search of Welch's father's residence, the forensic corroboration of his revised accounts, and his being confronted with the family testimony of the bonfire upon Taylor's Mountain, Welch revised his statements to detail an account of the sisters' abduction, abuse, and murder, which investigators were able to corroborate in part, although he continued to deny culpability for their actual murder. He's like, it wasn't me, it was my uncle and my dad, but I was there.
Right.
So I didn't do the murder.
Doesn't
but
matter.
They did.
Yeah.
Right? So he never said, I actually killed them, even though the police were like very, very like convinced that he's the one who did it. Yes. These accounts were given to investigators in January, February, and May of 2015, with his final claim to investigators being that the actual motive for the girls' abduction was for his uncle to force them to participate in a child pornography movie. Furthermore, you just get new stuff, right? Furthermore, his father had been a willing participant in the commission of the crime, and he had simply been the sucker to abduct them. So his dad was the one who abducted them. He saw his dad at the mall abduct them. Okay. In July 2015, Welch was indicted on 2 first-degree murder charges for his alleged involvement in the deaths of the Lyon sisters, whom he had at this stage admitted to having abducted in order that both he and his uncle could sexually abuse them in the basement of his uncle's home. So now his dad is not part of it. It was him. Who abducted them, brought it to the uncle, and then they both sexually abused them. Okay. At a press conference held to announce the development, Bedford County Sheriff Michael Brown informed reporters that the Lyon sisters had been sexually abused, then killed in order for their captors to escape detection. Although investigators publicly stated that members of Welch's family were considered persons of interest, Lloyd Welch was the sole individual to be indicted with regard to the girls' abduction, abuse, and murder due to their alleged participant in the crime being deceased or insufficient evidence existing to charge them with the crime. What do you think about that?
That's great. So he ended up getting the charges.
Yes, he ended up getting the charges. By the time of Welch's indictment, cold case investigators had devoted over 16,000 hours to the reinvestigation of the sisters' disappearance, had issued over 50 search warrants, and had conducted over 100 formal interviews with family members, eyewitnesses, and other persons of interest.
And how are the parents?
The parents were already 70, 80 years old by that time. Via a plea bargain in which he admitted to participating in the girls' abduction but not to the sexual assault and murder, Welch pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder on September 12, 2017. He was held accountable for the children's deaths at this hearing because although he denied killing the girls, the sisters died in the commission of abductions with the intent of defile. Welch was prosecuted in Bedford County because authorities believe the children's bodies are most likely buried in this location. Via a prior agreement with the Lyon family, the prosecution had agreed not to seek the death penalty in return to Welch's guilty plea, on the understanding that this plea would spare the family's years of litigated pleas against the sentence. The sisters' parents, both 77 years old at the time, and their brothers were all present at this hearing. Good. Beyond speaking to enter his plea of guilty, Welch refused to speak throughout these hearings. This refusal included an offer by Judge James Updike Jr. to formally address the Lyon family. He refused to address them. He received 2 concurrent 48-year sentences in relation to 2 counts of first-degree murder. He also received a concurrent 12-year sentence relating to 2 unrelated sexual assaults committed against children in Northern Virginia. As per statutory requirements, upon Welch's completion of his prison term in Delaware in 2026, he will be transferred to Virginia to begin serving his formal sentence for his conviction in the state. As the sisters' abduction and murder was committed in 1975 prior to the passing of truth in sentencing laws, a possibility exists that Welch may become eligible for parole by the time he reaches his mid-80s. However, officials have publicly stated that the chances of Welch's being granted parole are slim to none, which is insane right now.
Yeah, it is.
So this is after the fact that all this has happened. Mm-hmm. The ultimate location of the bodies of Catherine and Shayla Lyon remains unknown. Had Welch been brought to trial without the girls' bodies entered into evidence, the case would have been the longest to have elapsed, with regards to time, between the commission of a murder and a trial in which a defendant was convicted in the absence of a body in American history. Referencing investigators' determination to uncover the truth regarding the Lyon sisters' disappearance and their success in securing the conviction of one of the perpetrators after 42 years, an executive within the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Robert Lowry, stated in 2017, I think what the investigators did was unprecedented, adding that although Welch did not plead guilty to the full extent of his involvement, investigators had achieved a measure of justice. This sentiment was echoed by the prosecutor, Wes Nant, who stated following the Welch's conviction, in my heart of hearts, I know that we put one of the main perpetrators away. Catherine and Shayla Lyon were two beautiful young sisters who disappeared, left a permanent hole in the heart of all who knew them. It was truly an inspiration to work with their strong and enduring family. We are proud to offer some semblance of justice today. Richard Welch was never charged with his alleged involvement in his sister's abduction and murder due to a lack of corroborating evidence. His wife Patricia was charged with perjury in December 2014 for knowingly providing false information to investigators and encouraging a conspiracy of silence within her family pertaining to the case. Although Lloyd Welch had alleged and later denied others had been involved in the crime, his uncle had remained an almost constant individual named in his later allegations. Following Welch's conviction, John Lyon thanked cold case detectives and law enforcement officers on behalf of his family for never ceasing in the efforts to bring those responsible for his daughter's abduction and murder to justice, stating, "We just want to say thank you. It's been a long time." Welch formally began serving his sentence for the Lyon sister murders in January 2025, and then he was transferred from Delaware to the Virginia Department of Corrections on January 7th, 2025.
Wow.
There's a documentary on it, if you guys want to hear more information about it. It's called Who Killed the Lyon Sisters. And that concludes the case. I wonder, you think he's still alive?
The
guy.
What is it, Lloyd?
Yeah.
Welch? Well, in 2025, he got transferred. It's only been about a year.
Yeah, but, who knows? Let me see. Are you still... Oh, look at him. He looks like it. He's so ugly. Look, imagine that abducting you.
Yeah.
I can't. Disgusting. Look, that's how he looked like in his mugshot. Tell me that's not him.
Oh wow, look at that.
In the
That's pretty.
Isn't it? I mean, I'd certainly be like, that's him.
Yeah.
That's him. That's insane. And to think that with the time that passes by, you probably were like, even if you would have convicted him early on, they would have already probably been dead.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy right now. I can't even fathom. That's not him. I guess, yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Has not died publicly reported.
Yeah, he's still alive.
I hope he's 68 right now? That's crazy, yeah, no. I hope at 80 years old he doesn't get his, what is it called? Parole. I really hope he doesn't. He needs to stay there forever.
Yeah.
With a face like that, he will harm someone. Tell me no. Look at him.
Yeah.
Scary looking.
Definitely a creep.
First, no, yeah. An Appalachian native who does incest in the mountains. Goodbye.
Unbelievable.
And that concludes my episode for this week. Anything you want to say, LaVon?
No. Just make sure you follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on X.
Send any case requests you would like.
Send them through any of them.
Send us your copy order.
Yeah, send us your copy order. DM us.
If you think it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
We'd be glad to try it or put it out for someone else to try it. And we shall see you next episode. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye.